Okay, YouTube, this is Warfighter Mto. It's been a while since I have made a channel or a video on the channel, but I wanted to go over how I have my handguns set up, specifically my Glock systems. As of right now, I only run Glocks. These are all Glock 9mm family. I run Glocks for one reason, well actually for a couple of reasons. The main reason being reliability, ease of use, and platform familiarity throughout the, every handgun I own. These are all 9mm. I do own one .45 caliber handgun, a 1911, but I'm currently in the process of selling it, and I do want to replace it, and two of the replacements I'm looking at is a Glock 21 SF or a H&K 45. Haven't decided exactly which one I want to go with, but that is separate from this. So I have these three handguns right here, and they're, like I said, they're all 9mm. I'm going bottom from top. I got the G26, G19, and G34. These are all 9mm Gen 3s. Okay, no Gen 4, and the 26 and the 34 I bought before Gen 4s had came out. The 19's a Gen 3, and I bought it, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago. And the reason why I only want Gen 3s is because some of the Gen 4s had some issues with the new dual spring guide rod spring and guide rod they were putting in the guns, and they were having some issues. So I wanted to stay clear with them because they were untrusted technology, and the Gen 3s are obviously extremely tested technology, so which is why I went from them. With that being said, my brother-in-law just purchased two brand new Gen 4 Glocks, a 21 and a 17, and they ran fine. When we shot them, we put 50 rounds through each of them unlubed, and they ran without a hiccup right out of the box. Each one of these guns serves a specific purpose, I guess, for me. The G26 being that it is for, I guess you could say, deep concealment. It is the most compact. Glock sells it as a subcompact. I would kind of classify it as a compact, but they sell it as a subcompact. So when I'm looking to carry something extremely concealability wise, and I look to the G26. There are smaller guns out there now in 9mm, mainly the Shield, which I bought this way before the Shield had came out. But the reason why I like this over the Shield is just due to capacity. I feel that 7 rounds, the 6+1 of the Shield 9mm compared to the 10+ of the 26. And the ability to take 15 and 17 round mags outshines the Shield. Those little bit of rounds actually doesn't make a bit of difference to me. The 19, that is what I would consider, a duty gun. They sell it as a compact, but it's a 15+1 capacity, 4-inch barreled gun. And this is my daily carry gun as well. This is what I carry for 98% of the time that I carry a gun for concealed carry. This is what I carry. Just because I can fight better with the gun, I can get a better grip on the gun. I have a longer sight radius. It can take a light. Just pretty much all reasons I prefer it for carry over anything else. It's still pretty conceal. It's easier to conceal too. It's it's a little bit smaller than G17, but it's still bigger than the G26, so I get more added benefits out of it. And then next up I have is what I call my combat gun. I guess you could say competition, but I really don't shoot competitions that much. But I have it set up kind of as a combat/competition gun, and it's a G34. And this gun is absolutely a love to shoot. You get the 5.3-inch barrel, so you get the very long sight radius on it. It still has that 17+1 capacity on it. It's an awesome gun to shoot. and I like the added features that it has. The extended slide lock and the extended magazine release. I really do like those features of the gun as well, and it still has the ability to attach a light. And these are all Gen 3 guns, like I said. Now going over how I have each individual gun and how I have them set up, I'll start at the bottom again and work my way up. This G26, it's a Gen 3, and with all my Glocks, number one, I don't do anything to the trigger. I run stock triggers, and while that will affect most people's individual accuracy and proficiency of use with the firearm, because it is a heavier trigger, I keep them stock because I know the stock triggers will not fail and will not break under adverse conditions. And when you start replacing OEM parts with all these aftermarket triggers, you really don't know what you're doing to the gun, and it kind of becomes an unknown variable when the gun possibly might have to be used for life and death situations, and that's why I just keep the trigger stock. The only other trigger modification I would ever do to these guns would be to put the factory 3.5 pound connector in the trigger, and then that would be it. That is as much as I would ever be willing to do to these triggers in this Glocks. But like I said, I keep all of my triggers stock. I also keep, for the most part, the barrels and the guide rod and guide rod spring stock. And I say most part because one of these guns has an aftermarket spring and guide rod in it. With this gun, it pretty much came right out of the factory, how it is right now, minus the sights on it. And the sights I have on it, as you can see, are the Warren tactical carry sights, I think is what they mod them. And then it has the tritium front insert, and I'll explain why I go with that setup, because two of these guns have the Warren tactical rear sights on them. The reason why I like them is because how they are cut, and these sights are cut specifically for a reason. And if you look, there's not a whole lot of sharp corners on them. There's only two 90-degree angles on them. Most sights will be square and blockish, and you'll see, they'll have a square notch, and the sight itself will be rectangular in shape. And what that does is that just puts too many 90-degree angles on your eyes, and your eyes tend to focus on 90-degree sharp angles a lot more than softer, gentler angles because it's sharper. So what ends up happening is your eye will focus on your rear sight instead of the front sight, which is where you need to have it be focusing. That's why a lot of people will put tritium, paint, fiber optic on their front sights to make their eye focus more on that. Well, what they did, they took an extra mile, and if you look, the shape of the sight, it's kind of like a pyramid scallop shape. They did that so your eye won't focus on the corners of the sight, and the notch itself is actually a U. It's not a square. It's not a perfect rectangular shaped notch. So the only 90-degree angles on the sights are at the very top of the notches right here. Those are the only 90, which actually kind of enhances it, because that brings it into right into the focal plane for your front sight. Okay, and on the front sights, I don't like running fiber optic. I really do not, because fiber optics are super great during the day, especially people that don't have good eyes or whatever. But I feel personally that I don't like them. I just don't like having a burning dot right there. I feel that it's actually harder for me to use a fiber optic. Now, I know a lot of people will swear by them, but me personally, I don't. Now, I do like to have contrasting in my front sight, which is why this one has, the Warren Trigicon. Let's see if I can get it. The Warren Trigicon insert in there, and I use that good. I definitely don't like to run any sort of Trigicon tritium inserts in the rear. The reason why is because then you get to the focusing thing, or then again, your eyes are trying to focus on too many different focal planes, and it's just spelling disaster. So now, how I have this gun set up right now, my eye will focus on that front sight, which is where I need to be focusing if I ever have to engage a target. I'm not focusing on my rear sight, I'm not focusing on the target, I'm focusing on my front sight, that's just fundamentals in pistol shooting. So I always run a blackout rear sight. except for my 1911, I have a Heine straight 8, but I kind of have it covered up so I can't see it. But you know, this is, I think, for a tactical carry sight, these are the best sights on the market. And I've tried you know, HD tritium 3-dot sights. I've done Heine's, Novaks. I've tried them all really, and I just feel that the Warrens are actually, you know, the best you can have on the market for a personal defense / carry gun. I mean, you just don't. It's not a match grade sight, but you know, it's for carry and defense. It's probably the best on the market, and a lot of people do swear by them. So other than that, I have the gun completely stocked. The only thing that I looked at when I modify my Glocks is, you know, what's going to get me killed, kind of like on your car. Well, your brakes is what will get you killed on your car very first if they're not done with right. So what I look at is with the grip of the weapon. And if anything inhibits my grip on the weapon or is too slippery or just makes the weapon unnatural and harder to manipulate and harder to shoot, then I want to change that without sacrificing reliability. And I believe that the worst thing about the Glocks are the finger grooves. I have large hands. They do not fit my fingers. It crunches my hand up towards the front of the gun, and I like to remove them. This gun has not, because I have yet to have the opportunity to remove the finger grooves on it. In the future, I plan on doing a sanding and stippling job myself to the gun, and I will sand the finger grooves completely down. I will strip the gun, and then I will stipple it with a soldering iron, and I might reduce the back strap, or I might put a grip force adapter on it to reduce that angle at the back strap, because I don't like the hump either, that palm swell. So that's my G26 and how I have it set up.